If you know the different offensive positions and have some sense of how a football game flows, the next thing you'll want to know are the different types of plays that an offense can run. So this video will be a bit like a glossary of offensive plays. Most can be described in a sentence or two, so I'm just going to go through these really quickly to give you a general sense of what each one is. And if you do want more information, almost every one of these play types has a Wikipedia article about it, so you can check that out if you want more information. As you probably know, the offense can line up in a number of different formations, but no matter which one they choose, they can do one of two things. They can either run or pass the ball in an attempt to move it forward. There's another video in which I describe the different type of routes that can be run by a wide receiver, and those can be mixed and matched on any play. So we'll look at a few more passes here, but let's start with the running plays. The simplest run play there is probably the quarterback keeper, which is when our quarterback will receive the snap and just run the ball himself. He can do this as a design play, or if he drops back and pass but doesn't find any of his receivers open, he can just take off and run himself. Usually this will be done if the offense only needs a few yards to get the first down, but some of the faster, more athletic quarterbacks can use this route as a threat on any play. Related to the keeper is the quarterback sneak, which will be done if a team is only a yard or less away from the first down or the end zone. In quarterback sneak, the QB will receive the snap and immediately jump or dive forward as quickly as he can to try to pick up that short distance in between. The most common rushing plays, though, will involve the running back. The quarterback can hand the ball off to the running back, usually the halfback, although remember the halfback actually stands behind the fullback. And he can essentially run wherever he wants to, whether it's up the middle or around the outside of the offensive line. If he is going towards the outside, rather than handing him the ball, the quarterback can pitch the ball to the running back, and it would still count as a run. This type of play would be called a sweep play. The next type of play is a bit of a combination of the keeper and the pitch play, and this is called the option. In the option, the quarterback will receive the snap and then run to one side of the field, while the running back runs up alongside him. As the defense moves to try to tackle the quarterback, he can then pitch the ball over to the running back just before he gets hit, and the running back can carry on the play. Or, if the quarterback thinks he can gain more yards by keeping the ball himself, he can do just that. Hence, the quarterback has the option to keep the ball or to pitch it to his running back. It is important to note here that as soon as the quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage, he can no longer throw the ball forward. For the option to work, he must throw the ball either straight across or backwards when he throws it to the running back. And that leads us to the next play, which is a lateral. A lateral is a type of play we just described, where the ball is thrown parallel with the line of scrimmage or backwards. In fact, this is one type of ball movement that can be made at any time by any player with the ball. You can always pitch the ball back to a player behind you. The next running play is something called an end around, which actually involves a wide receiver. In an end around, the quarterback will drop back as if he's going to pass the ball, but he will hand it off instead to a wide receiver who's running across the field, and he will usually turn up the field and continue running. But you could pass the ball to another receiver if they want to take that risk. This is mentioned in another video, but it's good to review. So two terms that you might hear are play action pass and draw play, which both sound kind of confusing, but they're actually quite simple. These do not refer to any type of specific play, but they are variations that can be used to throw off the defense, which is, after all, the reason why the offense is doing all these different kind of crazy plays in the first place. When a team does a play action pass, this means that the quarterback will fake a handoff to the running back before he throws the ball. The draw play is the opposite. The quarterback will drop back and act as if he's going to pass the ball, and then he will instead hand it off to his running back. So play action equals fake handoff, pass the ball. The draw play is a fake pass, and then the offense will run. And finally, we'll end on a passing play called the Hail Mary pass. When the team is losing by a few points and only has time for one more play, but goes very far from the end zone, or in other words, it'll take a miracle for them to win. They will send all of their receivers to the end zone and throw the ball up one final desperate attempt to catch a touchdown pass. Thus, we have a half-yard. Those are far from the only plays that an offense can run, but the rest are usually related in some way or another to the plays that we just looked at. So the next time you're watching a game on TV, keep an ear out for these plays. I bet you'll hear them also mentioned. Let's take a look at what some of the different routes are run by wide receivers and what they are called. One thing to remember is that each receiver will probably run a different route on each play. So if you're a wide receiver, it's important to know which route you're supposed to run, and it is just as important that the quarterback knows every route that will be run for the team to have success. The simplest route is the one with the most names. The fly route, or the seam, or the streak, or the go is when the receiver simply runs in a straight line. You can see how this would allow the receiver to get behind the defenders quickly, particularly if he's fast. Similar to the fly route is the slant, which means that rather than running parallel with the sidelines, the receiver is running at an angle across the field. Next is the curl route, which is also called the hook or the button hook, and as you can see, it means the receiver will run forward and turn around. How far the receiver will run forward may vary. It might be 5 yards, it might be 15, or it can be any distance. As with all these routes, the quarterback will know how far the receiver will be running before the ball too. So oftentimes you'll see a quarterback throw the ball before the receiver has even spun around. This way, when he does turn around, he won't have to stand there and wait for the ball, because that would give the defense some time to block the pass. The next few routes are mirrors of each other. Here we have the drag route, which means that the receiver will run forward and then turn 90 degrees and run across the field parallel with the line of scrimmage. And just like we saw with the curl route, the distance that the receiver runs before he turns could be any distance. The opposite to the drag route is the out route or the out route. So rather than running over the middle of the field, the receiver will run forward and then turn and run out towards the sidelines. The next two are also similar. The first one is the corner route, and the corner we were talking about here is the corner of the end zone. So this is when the receiver runs forward and then runs at an angle toward the sidelines. This one is more of a quick corner route because the angle is smaller as opposed to this one, which the receiver would have more of an angle. The mirror of the corner is the post. The post refers to the goalposts. So here the receiver runs forward and then breaks toward those goalposts, which are in the middle. The wheel route is the backwards version of the out route, because here the receiver will run first toward the sidelines and then turn and run up the field. Finally, here's one that is not for wide receivers but rather for running backs. The flat route is similar to the slant, but it's being run towards the sidelines. It doesn't even have to be at an angle, it can simply be run straight toward the sidelines. What is happening with the flat route is that the defenders will naturally be running towards the quarterback. So all the quarterback would have to do is throw a short pass over the defender's head to the running back. Now there are no rules that prohibit the wide receivers from running any type of route. As long as they stay in bounds, they can go anywhere they want. But the wide receivers have to be careful, because if they stray too far from the play that is called, they might throw the quarterback off enough that he'll throw the ball where the receiver was supposed to be rather than where he went. And that wouldn't be